Several pieces of very important news today. The earnings, we've got the quote by the CEO. I think that's probably the biggest news of the day. That was technically yesterday, according to Brennan. We're going to go over that. And we've got the Medicare that happened today. And I think Bionano is going to be featured tomorrow, likely under this category right here, most likely. I don't see anything else that could probably be, or I guess maybe that one's the same thing, right? Something like that. That's probably going to be where we are, and that's tomorrow. That's the Medicare CMS Medicare coverage of Saphyr thing. Short interest data, we're going to go over that. Erik's tweet today. Very rare that he actually does tweet anything, so it's always good to see his optimism. We're going to go over that briefly. And the actual earnings consensus estimate revenue, those numbers. I want to talk about these because we're getting a disparity already getting different numbers coming in, 3.55 million and another source here. Very small difference, but still, it's very crucial. It's vital what those estimates are, right? Imagine if it was uptick, if it was an uptick from, they augment it from 3.5 million up to 3.6, right? That's already big. So that's going to be very important to watch. So we're going to go over that along with my estimates, right? And we're going to have a whole video explaining my exact estimates, I'm sure. But I'm going to go over, we continue to go over these. And I want to give you right now, since earnings is the topic of discussion, really what I'm expecting and what my price targets are. We're actually going to go over that first thing, I think. Where is some possible bull and bear case. We're going to draw it up on the charts and where the price may go based on what kind of numbers we're going to actually be seeing. The possibilities there as well. Along with the Fintel filings, we got 3 new filings today. All of them are bullish. One of them is very, very confusing. Fintel continues to have seizures almost every single day. They have an average share price of $7,000 for. They bought BNGO and their average price is over $7,000. Good job, Fintel. But seriously, 2 of these are. All 3 of them are good filings. If they're at least a little bit accurate, they're all adding. So we're going to go over those. And the 2 catalysts besides earnings, 2 more catalysts that we had to look forward to. The Cancer Genomics Consortium, that's happening very soon. And the PLA Codes, which is sneaking up on us as well. They're all these catalysts, they're flying under the radar. We've been talking about these we've been talking about most of these for weeks, some of them months. And they're going to, whether or not they're going to affect us instantly once they drop, like for example, October 1st for the PLA codes, proprietary laboratory analyses, they're going to be increasing the fundamental values. These are the reasons why the Saphyr and BNGO will go up long term and why 5s, 6s, 7s, these are numbers that are relatively low. Right, a market cap of less than $2 billion seems low compared to what the Saphyr will be doing in sales once we have Medicare coverage. Once we have 1,000 Saphyrs installed, total consumable revenue exponential increases. This is the shit that's going to send us through the roof. Now, also we're going to go over the technical analysis and the doji candle, the reversal. There's a lot of I actually really like. I really like how things are setting up here. But firstly, we're going to go over the earnings, where I think we're going to go maybe because of earnings and the possible bull and bear case, so based on the numbers that we may get. Earnings is coming August 4th now. We know that for sure. Okay, so let's say we were to get this first estimate right here, 3.5 million. Where are we going to likely go, Brandon? Now, remember, I have to say I could be wrong on my estimates, and I don't know exactly where we're going to go based on these, but if I could guess, right? So we now know exactly when the earnings is coming. Right about here. This is exactly pretty much right when earnings is coming, pretty much the day of the breakout to the upside or downside of this descending level and this ascending level. That's when earnings is hitting. So now that we know that, bear case, let's say we get 3.5 million, which is the consensus revenue estimate. That's very important. You have to understand that. If we get 3.5 million, right? Let's say the price goes something like this, okay? And then the breakout day, right? This is August 4th. If earnings is 3.5 million, we're probably going to go down to 580, maybe even 550. Bear case, like if we did horrible, I mean, I guess it's possible that we could go down here if we get no good news at all from earnings. It's possible that we hit the 5s again. I think it's a little bit unlikely that we go lower than that if we actually match the revenue. It's more likely that we're probably going to stay somewhere in the 5s, right? Somewhere in the high 5s. If we match the consensus estimate, we're going to go down a little bit, right? We're at 619 now. We would definitely go down a substantial amount, but not anything like 4s, in my opinion, right? And this is just what I think, right? So I could be totally off. These are very hard to estimate, I would say. Now, base case, 4 million. Let's say we were to get 4 million in revenue. That would represent a $500,000 revenue beat. And this is happening August 4th. That's why I'm going over this, right? So 5 million or 4 million, 4 million, excuse me, $500,000 revenue beat. So let's say we go sideways again. Breakout date, remember the breakout date is right here. We are going up to at least $7, probably more like $8, or at least $7 in my opinion. And I say this for many reasons, but mostly because the 2 data points that we have to go off of are very clear. We got $300,000 and $300,000 in a revenue beat last time around, or something very. I don't remember exactly what it was. Both of the last earnings were very small revenue beats, a couple $100,000, no more than $300,000 if my memory serves me correctly. And we went up 10% after hours in both scenarios. One of the times, that was the instigating event to a 100% run in less than a month. So I think it's very fair to say if we get a $500,000 revenue beat as opposed to a $300,000 revenue beat like the last two times, we are going to at least match the 10% performance that we got in the last two times, or more likely go up 20, 30, maybe even higher than that percent if we were to also get some good news in the earnings, like other than just the revenue beat. They say some good stuff about the, maybe the nanonozzle, right? Or anything, right? Lineage and growth, any of the 5 large clinical studies, FDA approval, the Saphyr 2.0. These are things that we want to know. And what if they gave guidance? What if they actually gave forward guidance for once, right? That would be fantastic. And then your bull case. Okay, if we get the bull case, or $4.5 million to $6 million, okay, let me show you what we would do, right? Let me go ahead and zoom out here. Okay, let me go ahead and do this. We're going straight up. we're going all the way up to $9 or $10. Don't mistake it. That's very likely to happen if we were to get 4 million or 5 million or 6 million. That's my opinion. I think that's, we'll see how this ages. I could be way off, right? It's very hard to say where the stop price is going to go based on what numbers we pull, because there's more things than just the numbers. There's the EPS, there's the expenses, there's the hidden stuff in the filing, there's the fine print, right? There's a ton of things that are hard that we have no idea about what they're going to be. But this is what I would say roughly. So if we get the bull case, you're never going to see the 5s again, unless just World War III, essentially. That's what I think, and that's what I'm going to say. So now let's go over the news today. This is the earnings. It's August 4th. There's not much else to say, right? This is slightly bullish. I'm not freaking out about this, but I am kind of freaking out that we're so close to earnings, because I did not think this was going to happen. I've told you guys several times in the streams, I thought they were going to do the exact same thing last time with earnings and just wait until the last few days and then announce, okay, they're going to do it exactly like everybody expected. This time, they're doing it early. That I have to admit, I am a little bit more optimistic and confident because of this, right? I don't think they're a company that's going to do this so they can get bad news out of the way early. If anything, early earnings, the proclivity for good earnings goes up with early earnings, if that makes sense, right? So the tendency for it to do well, it increases, and I think that's likely to happen. When you compare the evidence with that, you got a compelling case, like we already had. You even augment our already strong and robust case for a beat and a likely more than $3.5 million revenue for the quarter two. You add this in, you got an even better case, right? So you love to see it. Now, next up, we got this quote by the CEO. This is fucking huge in my opinion. Now, if we look, okay, so in summary, basically, I'll do the short version here. Basically, the CEO says that a reason why we haven't done so many Saphyr sale announcements, like the WeHealth one, for example, it's because there's too many Saphyr adoptions. And that is a quote, and that is that's a quote from Brennan. That's not a quote from the CEO. Sorry, I should be very clear there, right? In summary, he told me, Erik told Brennan, which is Messenger Moiseville, that there are too many places around the world using Saphyr to constantly announce. So that is maybe very good. And also I want to make the point that maybe some of these, apparently maybe adoptions, right? I've been calling them likely adoptions. University of South Alabama and City of Hope National Medical Center, those two. Maybe they're not adoptions necessarily because maybe they got the data sent from some other institution and they used it for their study, right? Maybe that's possible. Still, they have not used the Saphyr before. This is likely to be new rental agreements or sales, in my opinion. Likely. That doesn't mean 90%. That doesn't mean sure. That means higher than 50%. That's what likely means, all right? Or at least, majority of closer to 100 than 0. Okay? So that is good news. That is still good news. Ape language, that gives you even more. And this happened yesterday. This came out. I do consider Brennan a reliable source. Now, this came out 9 o'clock last night. So that's why you didn't hear me talk about this yesterday. And that is good news. More evidence to say that the management is confident in quarter two earnings. And maybe that is evidence to say these numbers are even conservative. We'll see. I don't have inside information. Now, CMS meeting, lab, public meeting, whatever. All right, this is the Medicare coverage of Saphyr. This is happening tomorrow, right? This happened today. I didn't hear any news from this at all. I'm assuming they're going to be talking about this tomorrow. And, I'm assuming they are going to be doing the meeting, but I'm assuming they're going to be talking about us tomorrow because the other genomic sequencing related tests, we probably fall somewhere under these categorizations here. So that's likely to be, if that's going to happen, we'll see if there's any news that comes out, or if there's just nothing, just radio silence. We'll see. It could be good, it could be nothing, but there's nothing that can hurt us from this. So I'm looking forward to see if there's any news that comes out from this. Very looking forward to that. Medicare coverage of Saphyr would be huge. Now, short interest on the day. You're looking at 15% of the float, 43 million short shares right now that have been lent out. So shares, regular shares that have been sold short, applying selling pressure on the stock. You're increasing the short interest right now. Shorts are playing a dangerous game, man. We've got earnings next week now, next Wednesday. They're playing a dangerous game. And we've been saying, and the reason why we've been covering the short interest for so long is precisely for this reason. A catalyst coming up, and if the news is going to be huge, say goodbye to your portfolios. Say hello to margin calls if you're a short. Simple as it gets. All right, now, is this going to be a buy the hype, sell the news, buy the rumor, sell the news kind of event? A lot of people have probably been thinking about that now because everybody's hyping the earnings up. I've been hyping the earnings up for good reason, because of this evidence here for months. And I've been right on my last two earnings projections. So I think it's naive to say, Brandon, this is going to be a straight up sell the news event. It's unlikely. It's very unlikely. There's no evidence to say that this is going to be a sell the news. The only news that has consistently been important for the price has been earnings. The last two times, it's exactly what we've seen. Precisely. And we've also seen direct, even more neglect of the price action in the last few months. Great news. C-suite additions. CLI lab confirmation. We literally had the CEO himself say, we're not going to get another offering. We're not going to get another offering. What does the price do? It goes down the next day. The only news people care about is the concrete numbers. They're not paying attention to anything else, by and large. The toots want to see the sales, otherwise we're not going up. If we get $4 million in revenue, say goodbye to these shorts, there will be a huge move to the upside. I don't know if it's going to be a short squeeze, but I know that there's going to be shorts covering. Is it going to be enough to be a truly conventionally defined short squeeze, 50%, 100% up? That would take a lot, right? That would take a bull case or fucking squeeze time, actual revenue concrete number coming out, right? Something like that, okay? Eric Holman's tweet today, nothing to really go over here. I'd like to see that he's still optimistic. There's this article that he posted, this was a couple days ago. We covered this earlier, right? You're welcome, my friends. Thank you very much. We covered this on the day that it came out. Eric, you're a couple days late on this, but I like that he's posting. Marketing, still confident, right? Even better now with others, including MD Anderson, people saying it. Rangers, no accuracy of next generation sequencing isn't the issue. The problem with next generation sequencing, which is our competition, they have an inability to detect SVs, and we have, and this is creating a blue ocean for OGM. We have a lot of demand. The demand is ours for the taking. We have the supply, and there's a ton of demand, and the demand outweighs the supply. There's a huge market for us, and it's ours for the taking, essentially. So you like to see it. Nothing huge. Nothing huge. That is Eric, and he did just tweet that today, though. Now, we also have this discrepancy in the earnings actual projection. We have this one. Earnings Whisper has been wrong notoriously for this, but at least in my experience, but they're projecting $3.55 million. Of course, it's not a big difference. It's only $50,000, but our article here, this was with the recent company meeting. This is according to TipRanks, Marty something there, Marty S. Kevin the Jeter met with the company, and the consensus was $3.5 million. So what I want to make, the point I want to make here is that the earnings consensus for the EPS and the revenue estimate, that's going to be extremely important. Imagine if they were to uptick that at the last second and change that to 3.55 even 50,000 more. I'm getting excited because of that. Even that, I'm getting excited. 100,000, 200,000. This is the stuff that's going to be very good. And you want to say, Brandon, that's trite. It's only $100,000. I don't care. Sure. But for short term of the price, these are things that may have a huge impact, and we're going to want to pay attention closely to what these numbers are. 3 new filings today. They're very weird, but most of them are actually recent. So you're looking at, these are new positions, right? So they bought 10,000 shares, bought 6,000 shares on this first one is going to be 30th of June, and then this other one's going to be the 31st of May, if I remember correctly. Let's look at this one again. Yeah, 31st of May, and 6,000 shares. And the average price is screwed up for almost all of them, except this one. It doesn't even have an average price, so that's interesting. But nonetheless, institutional ownership, it didn't actually budge, I don't think, but still, new filings, more buying. It's overall slightly bullish, right? And nothing that's going to affect the stock price very much, though. All right, now the catalyst that we have, Cancer Genomics Consortium. This is August 1st to 4th, and then we have, and this is going to be, I think this is going to be big, right? We've seen a lot of PRs about this. We saw a PR yesterday about this. This is going to be a huge marketing event, and I am excited. Usually, I'm not excited for presentations like this. This one, I am excited, and I don't say that very often at all. You guys know, for presentations that are just about the same old stuff that we always know. This time, I'm very excited because there's a high anticipation, a high amount of people attending this apparently. and there's the highest number of institutions that I've ever seen presenting Bionano data, or at least recently, right? 10 different presentations, I guess. There's like 7 different institutions. The PLA codes. If we search Bionano here, Control F, if I can get my hand around the mic here, if we go down, Bionano. Okay, there's a couple actually with us. We have one with Practice Genomics, then we have one with Augusta Optical Genome Mapping here. They're both going to become effective on October 1st, right? The effective date of this column right here, you're looking at October 1st for pretty much all of them, right? So if you go back down, October 1st is when we're effective. And these are things that are going to help us, to my understanding, government reimbursables like Medicare, those sort of that kind of thing, government reimbursements for the Saphyr usage, along with insurance companies covering Saphyr. These kind of things are what's going to help with that process, I guess, to my understanding. All right, so that's good. That's a catalyst, and those are some catalysts that you want to pay attention to. For the price action today, absolutely beautiful, up 7% of the day. It's a doji on the daily chart, and then, I mean, we said it yet. I'm not bragging, okay? I've been wrong 1,000 times. I did bring up that this is a doji, and sometimes, oftentimes, that is the candlestick that you get before a reversal. That's exactly what we saw today, and unfortunately, we got rejected. We didn't get rejected, but we closed the day right, literally pretty much right on the descending level of resistance here. That is pretty clearly validated, right? If you zoom out, there's actually another validation all the way up there. 1, 2, 3. Now you have 4 validations. We got rejected. We basically got rejected. We closed underneath it, and tomorrow, if we can hold the day above 614, that's very bullish. That's very bullish. But remember, the technical analysis is a little bit trite right now, although there's some clear stuff, and I want to go over. August 4th is the day. August 4th is the day that we will go to $8 a share, or stay roughly where we are, or go down to 5 again. That is the day, man. And I really want to see everybody on the stream there. That's going to be, if you're going to watch one video of mine, that is the one, because we're going to learn a lot about the business and what they've been doing this last quarter, how hard they've been working, their catalysts. Hopefully we get some guidance, and hopefully we get some kick-ass numbers to send us shorts back to where they came from, in hibernation, right? What they do best at, which is sleeping. All right, and losing money. Now, 619 is where we close the day. If we look at some indicators here, stochastic indicator on the daily, you're about to get the bullish cross again. And that's going to represent some bullish momentum going forward. That's good. Nothing huge there. You're bullish on the SAR, right? Nothing super of note that I'm going to say on the technical analysis here. On the RSI on the 4-hourly, you still got plenty of room to run. Not very overbought. 58. If you look at the stochastic indicator, you're pretty overbought as well. That's a bad indicator, though. Oftentimes, at least, because if you look in the past, it's so many sell signals prematurely. But overall, I like the technicals, I like the price action, and I also want to point out that this descending wedge chart pattern they're in, I mean, this is obviously a very brief TA here, but this descending wedge is a bullish chart pattern, and the price target is going to be, let's draw it up here. If we were, let's say we were to break out on August 3rd or 4th, the price target is going to be way up at $7. It's a bullish chart pattern, and it is, and we've gone up a lot. We made a higher low, and then we made another higher low. Now we need a breakout. That is the thing that we're waiting for. Hopefully, high growth and earnings will give us the chance to instigate that uptrend that we've all been waiting for what feels like a pretty long time now. So I will leave you with that for the technical analysis. And with that being said, there's the portfolio. Thank you all so much. This is not financial advice. I will see y'all in the next one.